thank you, Dennis Holder, for your very kind words and your very enthusiastic presentation here this evening. Very good to see my good friend of many, many years, Ossie Hunt. Old laborer in the vineyard of the Democratic Labour Party. Very pleased to see you here this evening. And it's my special pleasure, of course, to see members of the cabinet in the persons of Mr. Dennis Kelman, the Honourable Dennis Kelman, Minister of Industry, Small Business and Rural Development, and of course my colleague, the Honourable Steve Blackett, Minister of Social Care, Constituency and Permanent Community Development. Senator Darcy Boyce, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office, and of course, the Queen of the Democratic Labour Party. I had to come to St. Andrew this evening and had to accept this invitation because the representative for the constituency of St. Andrew and the representative for the constituency of St. Joseph are two ornaments that must be removed from the successful. For 45 out of the last 50 years, the parish and constituency of St. Joseph were represented by the Barbados Labour Party. The other 5 years, of course, were between 1986 and 1991, when Maisie Barker Welch was the MP there for the Democratic Labour Party. For 45 out of 50 years. If you give anybody in the world 45 years to do something, and they haven't done it yet, they don't plan to do it. And therefore, the time has come when St. Joseph must move on. And I will strain every sinew in my body. I will go to the end of my tether to ensure that after the next election, Dennis Holder is the end. For 30 of the last 50 years, the parish and constituency of St. Andrew were represented by the Barbados Labour Party as well for 30 of the last 50 years. Now, Mr. George Payne entered the House of Assembly in 1991. And by 1994, the Labour Party became the government and he was appointed to the cabinet. Not one of the better ministers Barbados has known. And that fact became evident to the then Prime Minister, who unceremoniously removed George Payne from the position of Cabinet Minister and ordered him to shut his mouth. He kept his mouth shut for a very long time. And I know that people were complaining, saying that he was going to the House of Assembly every week and saying nothing. The truth is that when he was going to the House of Assembly and saying nothing, he was doing the country a favor. Because now that he's opening his mouth, he's talking so much foolishness that we all wish he would keep his mouth shut. And therefore, the embarrassment that he continues to cause the people of St. Andrew is not something of which the people of St. Andrew are deserving. Irene had a narrow miss on the last occasion. I put it as a narrow miss. You call it what you like. there will be no narrow business in St. Andrew after the next election. We are going to make sure that Irene Sandiford Garner is the next Member of Parliament for the constituency of St. Andrew, and that the incubus of our pain is forever removed from this constituency. When, after Parliament resumed after the last election, I teased him and said to him, we nearly got rid of you. He said to me, next time around she will see how deep my pocket is. Now, let me make it clear to you. If you are given money in the next election, for heaven's sake, take it. But nobody can follow you into any polling booth to see what you are doing there. And therefore, when you go to the polling booth, you know what you have to do. Now there's a lot going on in Barbados. When I reached here this evening and I heard the reception, I came to the conclusion that nobody in this room had been polled. But I want to say this. Maisie Barbados is there. She can tell you that in the 1986 election, 2 days before it, a poll was published in Barbados that said, too close to call. And 2 days later, the Democratic Labour Party had 24 seats and the opposition had 3. A week before that, I had been told by Barbados Labour Party cabinet minister that they were getting 19 seats. So he told me so a week before, he said they had a poll done and they were getting 19 seats. And then 2 days before the election, a poll was published that said, too close to call. They were so close that the Democratic Labour Party got 24 out of the 27 seats. And for the record, the 3 seats that they saved on that occasion, Christchurch West, St. Thomas, and St. Peter, were the three constituencies in which Harold Barrow and Don Blackman did not speak in that campaign. Those were the 3 constituencies in which Harold Barrow didn't speak or Don Blackman didn't speak. Had they been able to go into those constituencies, we would have gone home. But it was too close to call. I know that a lot is happening. The battle is on for the minds of the people of Barbados. And I want you to keep your heads on. We came to government on the 15th, well, we won the election on the 15th of January 2008. And sometime after that date, my predecessor, the Honorable David Thompson, appointed a cabinet. And we did a throne speech and we went to Parliament for the official opening of Parliament. After the formalities were through, there was a reception in Parliament Yard. We had not passed any law, made any decision, appointed anybody to anything apart from the cabinet, made any public pronouncement on any issue of policy or anything like that. But that night in Parliament Yard, just after the throne speech was delivered, we hadn't done anything yet. 2 former cabinet ministers of the Barbados Labour Party came to me and said, you're all going to be a one-term government. We had done nothing yet. But they had determined that we were going to be a one-term government. So, when David Thompson introduced the estimates that we inherited, estimates that we came and found, and we just completed the discussions as they were going. We introduced the estimates. They said they were the wrong estimates and that the country would collapse as a result. We then did a budget. David Thompson did a budget. That was the wrong budget. The country was going to collapse as a result. That's 2008. We appointed a governor of the central bank. He was the wrong governor to appoint. We decided to open an embassy in Beijing, China, where we have an embassy now. Barbados and China had diplomatic relations since 1977. We decided to open an embassy in Beijing. We were told we were wrong. It should have been open in Hong Kong. That was 2008. Of course, all of the members of the cabinet were the wrong members of the cabinet too. Those who were in the cabinet as a right, they were told were holding the wrong portfolios. We had done nothing right in the year 2008. 2009, the estimates were wrong again. And of course, long speeches were made in the House of Assembly that the country was going to collapse as a result of these estimates. By the time the budget came, that was wrong too. And the country would not be able to survive this budget. We decided that we would introduce legislation to keep upon a manifesto pledge we had made on the introduction of constituency councils in Barbados to bring government closer to the people and to make sure that the irritations of everyday life that people from time to time have to deal with could be more expeditiously and more speedily dealt with by constituency councils properly empowered. When you heard the debate in the House of Assembly, you would have thought that we were introducing a piece of legislation, the purpose of which was to destroy Barbados. That was wrong too. So everything done in 2008 was wrong. Everything done in 2009 was wrong. We decided to introduce camps for school children. That was wrong too, and it is still wrong according to them. Although last year, over 10,000 young Barbadians participated in those camps, but it's still wrong. In 2010, we presented estimates again. Wrong estimates again. The country was going to collapse now for the third time in 3 years. And when my predecessor took ill, and we didn't do a budget immediately, the problem facing the country was that we did not have a budget. Now, the two that went before were wrong, and they were going to destroy the country. When none was introduced around the same time now, the problem facing the country was that we needed a budget. When that budget came in November 2010, that was wrong too. That was going to destroy the country. And that is what we have had to put up with ever since we've come to government. We have done nothing right. Because there is a view held in the Barbados Labour Party and held by its publicists on the organs of public information and in the print media that they have a right to rule Barbados. Do not forget that as long ago as 1971, and the DLP had a campaign song written by the late Hilton Vaughan that has immortalized it. Don't forget that it was said in 1971 that the decent people follow the Barbados Labour Party. The Democratic Labour Party takes the rest. So when you hear them carrying on, it is that sense of entitlement, that belief that the decent people of Barbados are their responsibility and that we are responsible for the rest.